Hello, guys. How we doing tonight? Hello. Hello. Oh, this evening, I should say. I always mix it up. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. A little tired. A little tired. Didn't get any sleep last night, so feeling a little tired. Glad to end this week. We had such a good week last week. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I was up over 30 last week, and now coming into this week, I was like a little hyped up. Markets are super volatile, it's crazy, but we're still making a lot of money. And then I come to something like today, and then it's a little harder on the ego, right? But it's still worked out great. So I mean, I can't really complain, but definitely one a little bit harder on the mental today. So we're gonna look at the possible setups. I don't know if you guys had some good luck trading today. Hopefully you did, but we'll go look at it, right? From a daily chart perspective, we had our retracement day on Thursday, and then we had a small expansion Friday. Pretty standard, even if we are to continue lower, right? In a case like this, we're oftentimes just going to revisit this area. We ended up respecting this inversion fair value gap with our close, and so we could push higher. All right. It basically mechanical logic that I personally use, right? My system tells me that this is my John liquidity. You guys see right statistics? You aren't supposed to see right statistics. That's for later. Well, I'm going to showcase it because we had a beautiful showcase today, and I wanted to share it because, as I told you guys yesterday, I had no clue for daily bias, right? So for Friday, now that Friday's gone, now I have an idea. But for Friday, I really had no clue what was going on overall. All right. So what do I do when that is the case? Right? I always tell you guys, I use intraday frameworks. And truth is, I don't need my daily bias. I just like to have it to filter trades. But what do? I use intraday frameworks. But what did I tell you guys, right? Let's bring in London and let's remove Asia here. As we can see, not a useful framework in this case. London, the London framework, we're supposed to rate one side between 5 and 9:30, right? But we rated that side on the 10:15 candle here on the 15-minute chart. So is that framework still valid, right? Because we can see it worked, right? We went from London low to London high for a very beautiful framework here. Gonna remove lunch. Always try and keep the charts clean. And in case you guys use this indicator, you can just do remove when swept, which basically removes the levels to keep your charts clean. But when we're analyzing charts, right, reviewing charts, it's better to keep it off, in my opinion. But right here, we're seeing London low and London high. So how do we interact with that framework that was rated after our allowed session? Well, we don't need to think about stuff like that because, of course, we have right statistics, right? So here I set it up for specifically those statistics. As you can see here, we don't have any specific high rate filtering. We do force the low rate because the low was rated between 5 and 1028 in this case. A rough estimate, right? You can put it 1030, you can put it clean. I'm actually going to be updating this weekend so that these little intervals are your 5-minute precision instead of 1 minute. I wanted to keep it 1 minute, but it's a little hard when you have a lot of them on open as for filtering. So I'm gonna change them to 5-minute precision for easier use, right? But what do we see here? 80% chance, right? 80% chance of returning to that level. And of course, in this case, if we want a more precise statistics, right, we want to know that the high is rated after that level. So we'd have to go here, do something like 1035 in this case, and now we see a 42% statistics, right, that it is rated after. And even if we move a little further, in a case like this, I would do after 930, right? So after 9:30, and here I do 10:30 as well. 9:30 as well, I mean. To have a little more precise of a statistics, this is what I would like to see. And see, in this case, over 50%, still a little worse than when you don't look at this thing overall. But what I'm interested in is this framework more often than not going to reach for that level? Yes. Now, something that is not available in Rice Statistics, but that I personally use as a trader, is aligning with the daily expansion, right? When we talk about daily power of 3. For me, it's very easy to visualize this with my opening prices, right? So I use midnight open, I use the daily open. What do I see? Well, we traded a little higher here, and then we had a huge expansion lower, right? I saw a few guys trading that during the Asia session, right? Huge Asia session. But that's your daily manipulation. If we think about the daily candle here, what do we see? We opened, traded slightly higher, then we manipulated lower, a large move, and then started our distribution. Of course, London was a retracement, and during New York, what did we do? We raided London to then get ready for a continuation. So this is what we call narrative, right? It is understanding the development of the day, right? We had our power of three move here. So now when I come to New York here, what I'm looking for is a continuation towards the distribution. So for me, bias was bullish. I see my London framework in this case, very, very simple trade, right? But as we can see, it didn't happen at 9:30 open, but we had 10 a.m. news. So we're going to wait for 10 a.m. nonetheless. And it is this line right here. Let's actually do, I believe, you know what? Let's use these custom levels. I forget myself because I usually have an example up here. But if I look, it is text, time, type. Okay, so let's do, what do? We do 10 a.m. So let's just call it 10. And then it is the time. So it's going to be 10. And then the type, which is going to be, we're going to do both here. And you guys might not understand what's going on right now, but that's why there's a tooltip. See, I'm even lost. So solid, let's do solid, let's do blue. And what is the other parameter? Width. Yeah, just one width. So let's see if this actually works anyways. Oh, and yes, of course, I do have to do this. Is it working? Well, no. See, that's why the indicator is not live here. And here I brought it back. I was actually trying to fill this little guy right here, but apparently there's a bug in the indicator, or maybe it's just a 4-hour open lines. No. Okay, so I was trying to showcase 10 a.m. anyways to showcase the news. Let's go here, and this is our news event. All right. What do we do when we have 10 a.m. news? Well, I'm looking for manipulation at this point in time. All right. Why? Because I don't have a clear Judas swing at 9:30 with SMT, right? If you guys remember, that is the only time I can trade before news. And let's be honest here, in a market like we have right now, this rule goes out the window. There is no way I'm trading before the news, right? We already have a volatile enough market. But anyways, our rules tells us that we need a clear Judas swing at 9:30, confirmed with SMT, which in this case, as you can see, no SMT on those lows. So we have to wait for 10 a.m. Now, if you waited all the way for 10 a.m. and you were looking for shorts, then you might have found an opportunity here. Personally, I was looking for longs. And if I'm looking for longs, I'm looking for a lower objective to be met, like my London framework, to then look for a long. Once we have our lower objective met, what do I need? Well, I need a breaker block. This is the first breaker block to form. Let's mark it out as such. And let's bring our standard deviations here as well. And I need a unicorn entry, like for example, trading back into an inversion fair value gap here. So that would be a very straightforward entry. Where would your 3PD array stop loss be? All the way down here. That's where it sucks a little more, right? Because you have inversion fair value gap, order block, and fair value gap here. There's a mini IFVG under. Where? Oh, this guy? Is that actually? Oh, yes, it is. Yes, I didn't count this in my 3PD array, so your stop loss would be tighter. We didn't retrace into this. Actually, I saw that this morning. But it is a tiny little guy, see, if we draw him out. But it still counts as a 3PD array stop loss rule. When I do these reviews for you guys, I try to be pessimistic as much as I can, so I don't really look at stuff like that. And see, that would have stopped you out if you did not take profit beforehand. You guys know me, very hard not to take profit before then, but I did not today. I did not, and that's my mistake. But see the beautiful alignment of the standard deviations with this objective, which is basically I called it current AM session high, right? If we bring this in, we'll see this as the opening range high, right? So very clear framework from opening range low to opening range high with the confluence of London, 2 to 2.5 reversal range. This is just a clear objective for me. So I did not look too partial beforehand. I was greedy. Honestly, I can't call this a mistake. That's the truth, because there's nothing to partial to. And then you might say, okay, well, what about if we use our range, right? And we go to our 5-minute chart and we look for our first premium in efficiency. Well, let's do that. Right here, our first premium in efficiency is this order block. As you guys can see, it is very, very clear level. It is pretty much always met if we're talking statistically speaking. But here's the thing, I was greedy. I mean, that's the only thing I can say. So 1.63 is, I'm not looking to take profit here, but what do I always say when an order block does not offer me enough risk to reward? Well, I look for the mean threshold. In this case, not a high probability order block, so we use the candle's body. I mean, it was such a precise level today. It really was. So I'm actually pissed that I did not execute correctly on this sense, because 2.38R at that would be your partial, right? The mean threshold right here. Let's actually draw it up. And in case you guys, I think I mentioned it like once, so in case you guys didn't know, this is how I interact. When an order block level is my partial and it does not offer me enough risk to reward, I go ahead and use the midpoint of it, which is called the mean threshold. You seem to get greedy a lot. Yes, I do, Perez. I really do. And it sucks, but I mean, that's who I am as a trader right now. I do want to fix that. I do want to work on that, and that's what I do. And how do I do that? By making mistakes. That's the truth. And these days, I don't make many mistakes. But when I get greedy and that costs me money, that is a mistake. And how do I fix it? Well, by going back over it, reviewing them, and seeing that that mistake cost me money. So now I know that it is not a good move to make. And see, in this case, I personally took a small loss. I didn't even go break even. So I took a small loss here. Didn't take the full loss, because when I saw price almost reaching here, I closed once I saw this candle. Pretty much this candle started. I could have returned to break even, but I was already greedy by not taking profit there. Just wanted to get out of the trade. But yes, Perez, I do make a lot of mistakes, and they are all 100% of them relating to being greedy. It's crazy to me. 30 points on a mini is a good fucking living. That should be easy for you unless you look like you got like 6 kids and a mansion at 21. Maybe Quebec expansion. Here's the thing. I'm not here for a good living. That was a year ago. A year ago, I was looking to replace a full-time job. That always was my goal. It's like, if I can make the same amount of money trading an hour to 2 hours a day that someone makes working 40-hour weeks in a month, then that's my goal. And for us, the threshold here is $2,000 to $3,000. It is really like minimum wage, right? So $2,000 to $3,000, and if you want a good job, let's call it a very normal job that a lot of people could reach, like 5K. You don't really love trading sometimes? It's not that. It's really not that. It's just like I had to replace 5K. Okay, and once I replace that, then it's all about growing wealth. It's all about growing wealth. And the truth is, I don't need my money from trading anymore, because now I have it. I have it. I've saved it. I have my investments generating income. I have a bunch of tools generating income, some that you see, like for example, Rise Statistics, and some that you don't in the back end that my name is not associated with. I generate a shit ton of passive income now that I've built quite a substantial investment portfolio from taking my trading profits. So now what do? Well, I get greedy on trades because I no longer need that money. So I no longer have a reason to be safe. And that's my biggest problem that I'm fixing currently, right? So it's a hard one to fix. I can't tell you guys how because I haven't gotten through it yet. But I can tell you that I've definitely mitigated the amount of times it happens by a lot. And at 11, just to get back into price, right, we had a big injection of volatility. I believe Matt told me that there was the meeting minutes that were released. So injection of volatility here. But to be fair, I wasn't even surprised when I saw an almost 1% candle with the current markets. And then after that partial, you would have gotten stopped out, break even, actually on that bar right there. So, I mean, quite a decent trade nonetheless, right? You take profit here, you take 50% your position, you're great. I was just cocky, greedy. And you know what? I had another entry, which we're going to talk about, because even if you got stopped out break even here after taking your partial, you're still allowed to look for more entries as long as what? Well, it's within our trading moments, I get. So here, this is a breaker block, right? And as I said, whenever I like to go on the lower time frames, whenever this happens, when I don't have a bullish candle to look for, I go down to the 30-second, take that candle there. But to keep simplicity's sake, and some people actually don't have access to seconds data, I just want to keep it simple and showcase, just use the full range, because the truth is, it does not matter. It is really the high of the range that is of importance, and it will barely differentiate from that. You're allowed to stay greedy? Fuck yeah. Well, it's not that I'm allowed to do it. It's that it doesn't affect me as much as when I was a beginning trader, because now I have generated plenty of income from it, right? So if I get greedy and it costs me money, then it's okay. It's bad. It's bad, but truth is, I did not need that money. I didn't have a rent payment that I didn't have money for at the end of the month. So making mistakes now is a little less, I'm a little less strict on myself, but I'm still trying to fix them. And how do you do that? As I said, you need to make the mistake, then you need to review it, realize why that is a mistake, and that is what is subconsciously will make it so you're not looking to do that anymore. Be satisfied with less, right? It's really more so, I just had a really good week last week, so I think that just came into this week as well. If you expand your chart, it's a bullish candle. I didn't see it, saw it later. Let's look at it. This candle, the open is 18364.75 and the close is 365. You're right. It is a one tick bullish candle. Wow. Wow. And by the way, when I look at the numbers, guys, I'm always referring top left of my chart. Next to blowing an account, seeing a trade come back on you that you were in deep profit is by far the worst feeling there is. Yes, 100%. 100%. That's also why I stopped trading after that. I was already, didn't get much sleep, got greedy, made a mistake. If I keep trading, it's either FOMO, I'm going to try and remake that loss. I'm just not in the good mental space. So for me, that was the end of my trading day, but there was a great opportunity right after, right? Forming this breaker block, which means that this is your entry. This might be a little hard to accept for some of you guys, because when you're reviewing charts with hindsight, you're like, oh, well, fuck, look at this down move. I wish I could have skipped it. No. Now, this is your mechanical entry right here on this bar. Your 3PD array stop loss rule goes all the way down here. Now, how many of you would have gotten basically, what's the word for it? Slipped out? No one. This is futures. Why do you guys think I love futures so much? It is precise. So you would have still had plenty of opportunity. And in this case, clear partial objective here. Very, very simple. You're at the high of that range. It is in the premium of the current range that you're trading. You don't have any confluence from the standard deviations really, but that is just a clear partial to me. This is also data high since it was a news events releasing the minutes. A little harder to spot there, although just do top right here. So you hit that level right there, and then another take profit for me would have been opening range high, followed by London. See, it's cases like these where I get a little more pissed because I was like, okay, well, if I managed this trade correctly, that would have actually been a win. But I managed it wrong, took the loss, and since I made a mistake, I closed my charts. But then you had just a beautiful opportunity right after. I'm not greedy, I'm desperate, but I appreciate your honest and your trading style and rules to counter those proclivities. I think the first stream of yours I watched, you said you're arrogant and greedy. Loved it. Oh, awesome, brother. Because that's how I am. I get tired of the parroting of you have to be zen and not worry about the money. Yes, that's not everyone's situation. Sometimes you just have to pay some fucking bills. Yes. I thank you very much for those words, brother. I do appreciate them. And you're so right. And that got to me when I started as a beginning trader. It pissed me off so much where everyone was like, oh, you have to be perfect. You can't make mistakes. You have to not care for the money. How the fuck? I mean, I have plenty of money and I still care for the $1,000 I'm risking on my trade. Like, how am I supposed not to want that? And I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I had an easy childhood, right? My parents had money. We did have our issues, as every family probably does, but they taught to me the value of money, and I want a shit ton of money. So how can you tell me that greed and FOMO and being hurt and wanting to revenge trade is not something that you'll live through your entire life? Like, I don't get it. So for me, instead of trying to fix myself, which I like who I am, and I like being greedy and arrogant, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, right? Honesty is a big thing. How do I make it so, not that I change myself, but it doesn't affect my trading? And see, it still does here and there, but that's variance. If I make one mistake a week, I am fucking very, very profitable. And that's fine with me. I don't need to be perfect. I just need to be good enough. Patrick, since we traded above that IFVG and retraced into it, wouldn't it have been the first entry presenting itself to us? We did not. We did not. Let me show you. We'll go back. He's talking about the first entry, right? The first fair value gap below, right? This one. When does it become an inversion fair value gap? When we close above it. It's not when we trade above it. It's when we close above it. And we closed above it on this candle, 1033. And when did we close above it? When this candle closed, right? This is the only point where you can confirm it. So only after this candle, so on 1034, at 1034, so on the opening of this candle, can you say that this is an inversion fair value gap? So you can't say, oh, well, look, we traded all the way above it here. Next candle, we traded back into it. My pleasure, my pleasure. I think I hate losing at something more than I hate losing money. It's weird. Whereas I am exactly like that. This is a question of arrogance, ego, competition. I think very highly of myself, and I like to win. For better or worse money, freedom equals money, freedom in this world. Yes, yes. I had a hard time reading that. But yes, definitely. Definitely. I mean, honestly, guys, I don't believe it's possible to be a perfect trader. And truth is, I don't want to be a perfect trader. If I can make money right now, where I don't want to say I'm half-assing it, because I spent thousands. Well, I don't want to say thousands. Okay, I spent hundreds of hours defining and refining my craft, creating a model, learning about statistics to make sure that model is beautifully aligned with them always, making a model that is consistent and always aligns with an expansion. Like, I mean, I spent a lot of time. I have thousands upon thousands of backtest logs and categorized. Like, I've done a lot of work for this, all right? So why can't I enjoy it now? And just follow my system and not care about the little mistakes I make here and there. That's just how I think. Now, it might be complacency, but that's just how I think nowadays. I think trading money, if you can make, is more of an accessory and an extra. To feed a family or support yourself is very rare in trading. Couldn't tell you. I don't have a family. I know that I stopped working when I was 18, I believe, and I haven't had a real job since. I mean, I've helped my parents here and there in times where money was rough, before I even started getting into trading. They have, I don't want to give too much details, right? But they gave me work and, well, basically paid me for it. And I'm not talking go cut the grass, little kid. I'm talking real work, right? But other than that, I mean, no. And in the last 2 years, I have not had a regular job. I've just done my thing. And trading is my only source of revenue. And I mean, I can tell you, I'm a big spender. I am a big spender. So, I don't know. I think it's very possible, very achievable to have trading be your only source of revenue. But it's all a question of mental, I guess, is the best way to put it. Because someone who is always stressed about making money on their trading will not work. That won't work, because if you have a losing streaks, you'll get mad and then you'll say, oh, I have bills coming. But truth is, a few months of profitable trading will cover me for the rest of the year. Like, I mean, I'm already done, honestly, if I wanted to. I could stop trading here for the rest of the year and just go lay back, have fun, keep spending what I spend, and be good. But I'd be digging into my trading profits. And my goal is to grow wealth, not trade 2 months to then get back to zero at the end of the year, because that'd be losing money to inflation. I mean, those are personal finances, right? It's very, very personal stuff that is different for everyone and based on everyone's situation. But for me, never had an issue generating stable revenue from trading because I have a model that allows me to do so. Some people, their models are like more like winning streaks and losing streaks. So in cases like these, it might be a little bit different. But definitely intraday trading, like you have so many setups and so many trades in a month that I believe it's definitely achievable. And just to get back into price, right? I'm not going to talk about any longs because we're only looking to long early. If you're trying to long later, it's just you FOMOing into a trade. After London high is met early afternoon, you could justify a short, but in the markets that we are at right now, it's very hard for me to justify something like that. I mean, we can look at it like, is there a short? I mean, there is. Right, so I'm looking at this bearish breaker, which is the first one to form, of course, after 11:30, not 11:30, 1:30 p.m., so 13:30. You have this overlapping PD array. I mean, unicorns are pretty simple, guys. Once you get used to it, you'll find them like it's nothing. They're harder at the beginning, but once you do, you'll be fine. 3 PD array stop loss rule, right? Fair value gap, fair value gap order block. I mean, wait, I just noticed this though. Oh, well, this would be your entry. I just noticed the inversion fair value gap. So let's actually put our worst entry here. And then your stop loss would be just a tiny bit tighter. And I mean, this is just unsuccessful setup, right? Never reach anywhere near take profit. Well, anywhere near. I mean, you needed 1.7. This is either a break even because once we go up here, go back and draw down and expand past it, this is a signal for me to go break even, right? My trade shouldn't return to my entry. And if it does, and I have already taken profits, that's a break even. But if I haven't taken profit, if we do expand back away from it, just on this candle, right? Not even looking at this 252 candle, just looking at this one, this is a sign for me to go break even. So that's why sometimes when we're reviewing, I see a setup and I tell you guys like, oh, okay, this is a break even. It's not a loss. It's a break even because I have a clear set of rules. And do take note of that rule if you're trading the rise model. That's a big one, right? And that brings a lot of my losses to be break evens instead of losses. But we can just call this a loss. Pretty straightforward day, to be honest. I mismanaged my first trade, made a mistake. I have a very simple rule that when I make a mistake, I stop trading because I know myself. I know I'm going to revenge trade. I know I'm going to FOMO into positions to try and undo that mistake where I should have made money. So I lost out on a very beautiful, to a total of almost 5.6 R. I mean, it would have been a little earlier because as you can see on the S here, we took that level out here. So with that SMT, it would have been assigned to get out of this trade or take profit, right? Definitely can justify holding that trade further, but why would you, right? Partial right here, take profit at opening range, take profit at London high, of course with the SMT. You don't need anything more. Do we have any questions, right? I mean, it truly was the easiest day and would have been a great day if I didn't myself perform badly. Learning about Rise entry model made this so much sense to me. Your higher time frame bias and narrative form the foundation of your edge. This part requires depth and complexity. Your executions, on the other hand, should be mechanical and repeatable. No emotion, no guesswork, just process. Yes. And even then, that's the thing, right? I don't. Someone DM'd me, yesterday actually. I just censored him today, and he was asking me like someone new to me and the Rise model, never been in these calls, right? And he was asking me, or maybe it was a girl actually, a pretty unisex name, but whatever. They were asking me, um, what is the res model, right? What can I expect in terms of profit, whatever, right? And the most important question they had is it 100% mechanical? And I said no. Why? Because I bring my bias into it. I bring things like looking at the daily development, right? What we just did on the 15-minute chart with looking at the open. I see this as bullshit, which can be framed as accumulation. I see a clear manipulation distribution. So now because of this, I'm only looking for longs. Okay, but what if I used a mechanical bias, right? Well, mechanical bias on a daily chart tells me that my bias, well, in this case, is this an inside bar or did we take this? So this is an inside bar, previous day up close, bias is bullish. So look for longs, right? So you can have mechanical bias is what I'm trying to say. So you can even go further into that. But yes, Patrick, I just wanted to say my opinion about what you shared, that I disagree with it because you can actually change bias to be mechanical. But in my opinion, and actually based on my specific win rate, success rate on the higher time frame bias, it is better to bring my discretion into it, right? Having bias be discretionary. But truly amazing in that sense. Does that make sense? I feel like I just went around in a circle there. But there are a few mechanical bias logics that I really appreciate, you know? Great stuff. Awesome. Do we have any final questions before we call it a day? No, it's Friday. Time to lay off. We have a nice hockey game tonight. All right. Well, thank you all for being here, especially on a Friday night. Have a great weekend. Well, thank you very much to you as well. You guys know the routine, right? Take some time off, enjoy it, recharge, and get ready for another week coming into next week, all right? You guys have a good one. Bye, guys.